guest this evening has starred in some pretty cool films. He's been in Metropolitan, Barcelona, and The Last Days of Disco. He can now be seen on the show It's Like You Know on ABC. Please welcome Chris Eigeman. Now, you know, it's, I always thought you were a New Yorker. You know?
Yeah, no,
I always assume you're a New Yorker. You've got that New York attitude, that New York posture.
Grew up in Denver, but spent time, you know, all around. Actually ended up in places like Seattle, even.
You lived in Seattle?
I did for a while. I got up there, and then I went broke and had to become an ice cream man to make money. Not a big ice cream town, Seattle.
Right.
Rains a lot, not a big market.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drove one of those converted mail trucks that was painted white where you drive on the wrong side.
Right.
It said Joe's Ice Cream. And it went like...
Joe's Ice Cream? What a lousy name for ice cream.
Well, the people in Seattle are like, oh, yeah, Joe's Ice Cream. And you drive around, it goes do-do, 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 right, all day, like this. And you're slowly going mad.
Right,
you're going insane. And the only thing you can do is change the speed of the do-do. You can go like, you can speed whatever you like, do-do, 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 which is fine, or really feel like do.
Right.
Do.
Right. And there's a ska setting.
Right, you can't even do that.
Yeah.
And you're going insane, and what happens is, it really tests your morality, because kids will come up to you. Kids love ice cream, apparently.
I've heard that.
They will come up to you with obviously stolen money.
Right.
And like clear, like crisp $100 bills that they got out of the top drawer of the dresser. And like, how much will this buy? And you're like, well, that will buy you 3 Superstar Fudges and 1 Bomb Pop. And you take their $100 bill, and you give them some ice cream and some change, and you're like, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And you go, or kids will come up with like 7 Buffalo Head nickels.
Right.
And they're like, how much does this buy?
Well, they get it out of like a coin collection?
Coin collection. They obviously ripped off their father's coin collection for a Superstar Fudge. And you're like, what's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 cents? Sort of.
You creep.
Yeah, no, I was bad. And then, the worst, of course, the most humiliating, as if it's not humiliating enough to be in a Joe's Ice Cream truck, to be driving at 35 miles an hour, or even more, like 10, like do-do-do-do, and hitting a car. I hit a parked car.
How did you manage
do-do-do-do. I was like, oh, no! Boom! And it just went do-do-do, and all the kids came, and they're like, look at the idiot.
Yeah. I know what that's like.
No,
is it, now you're in L.A. now. You're making the show.
You
have to be there for that show.
Yeah, I'm back and forth. I still live in New York, but I commute.
Is the L.A., because there's a certain tone out there that's it's a very spiritual place, L.A. There's a lot of...
It can be. I've not been around, but because I'm doing a show about L.A., I get a lot of stories. Like a friend of mine is converting to Judaism, which you know, it's a great thing. He's really, really enjoyed it. But the one thing you have to do is you have to have a ceremonial bris. Even if people gasped, I know. Even
the bris.
If,
I mean, I'm
bris
not
is the circumcision.
Right.
Even if you're already circumcised, you have to.
I don't care either way.
But what they have to do is they have to draw blood from your exactly. Okay. So John, my friend, is terrified about this. Of course, he's in L.A. He goes to the Moyle, who does this, who's also a doctor, and the rabbi is there.
The Moyle's the guy who actually...
He's the clipper. But remember,
let's not do that.
I know, I'm sorry about this.
Let's say, the rest of the story, we won't do that.
None of this.
Okay.
And actually, all he has to do is just prick you with a little needle. But
because it's just ceremonial.
It's ceremonial, but you have to get blood. Apparently. I don't know. I've been told this. Okay, so...
This might be a very elaborate practical joke.
It could be. People are just like, oh, we got another! Oh, hilarious!
The Moyle goes to the next room and just cracks up.
So John, of course, is you know, really nervous and scared. He comes into the doctor's office, the doctor/Moyle's office, and
Don't
you know,
say slash.
Slash,
yeah.
taking, you know, he's getting ready, and the Moyle's like, I guess, you know, getting ready, and says, so what do you do? And John's like,
while he's standing there naked,
and John's like, I'm an actor, and then the Moyle says, oh, you should have brought a headshot. At this point, John starts, like, looking around to see if there's headshots.
Because he's probably a celebrity circumcision
like,
guy, yeah.
You know, nobody does it better. Mickey Rooney, you know, something like that. Couldn't have done it without you know, whomever.
Yeah.
And so John's like, yeah. And John's like, great, no. And then the Moyle says, because, you know, my nephew's doing a movie. He's written and directed a movie. And John, with his pants around his ankles, is like, that's great. And he says, yeah, the movie's called, name some movie, like Hedgerow. And John's like, Hedgerow? I auditioned for Hedgerow 2 weeks ago. I didn't get it. And then he's like, oh no, now he's going to stab me harder because he thinks I'm a bad actor.
Right.
So then he stabs him once with the needle.
Right.
Nothing, no blood. John's like, ugh. Stabs him twice, another one. Then he gets blood.
Right.
Pulls up his pants, tears, whole thing. I know, it's unbelievable. Goes home, next day, gets a call. The producers and director of Hedgerow would like to meet you and to see you again. So he goes back in on the movie. And apparently then it's not really who you know so much as who you let stab your willy that really,
In L.A.,
it's important.
that's a good guy to know.
It's a good guy to know.
That may even be worth a part.
I'm even thinking of converting. I'm like, come on, bring it on.
Now, where are you living in Los Angeles? I used to live there. Where do you have an apartment? Do you
I
have a
got
house?
a little house up in the hills, which is really pretty. And it was nice for like 3 or 4 weeks, but then skunks moved in. And you think like skunks, you're like, the first day you're like, oh, it's nature, it's fine. By the time your towel starts smelling of skunks, you've got to do something.
Where skunks, like where in the house? I mean, you say you moved in.
I think they're underneath. I don't know where they are. Sometimes I hear the, that.
Right.
It makes more noise than your desk did. But then, so I put out traps, these have-a-heart traps. I don't particularly have a heart about this sort of thing. I'm perfectly willing to kill the skunk, but my neighbors were like, no.
Yeah, I mean, no one cares. You can shotgun a skunk. I mean, no one, yeah.
So I put this trap out, and
these are the ones that don't hurt it? Is that the idea?
Right. It just the sides drop down, and they're in a cage, and then
there's food and water and a little TV in there for them.
Right. So the first thing I catch is a possum, who has no interest in leaving. Possums are disgusting creatures. They're like rats on steroids. And then I finally get the possum out. The next thing I catch is a house cat, who is like happy to be there also. Third, at middle of one night, I hear something definitely caught. Cage is rattling. I'm like, yes, I have you, you bastard. All night I hear this, all night. I'm like, and I look out and I see what is a kind of a black thing, and I'm like, yeah, I got you. In the morning I go out, and it's a Cocker Spaniel. I caught a Cocker Spaniel.
Yeah.
The stupidest dog on the planet, apparently. It's like, hey, let me go in here and eat rotten cat food.
Right.
So I let the Cocker Spaniel out, and he hightailed it home.
So you released him, so everything's fine now?
No, the skunks are taking up residency, for all I know.
Yeah, just leave them alone.
I'm going to move. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, your show is doing quite well.
Yeah, so far. It's great. It's great. People laugh. That's all I ask,
That's all you need in this life. It's Like You Know is on Tuesdays at 8:30 on ABC.
After Spin City.
After Spin City. Chris, thanks very much for coming by.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Always nice having you on the program.
Show,
Chris Eigeman, everybody. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Stick around. Thank you very much for stopping by. Continued success.
Thank you very much.
Joe's Ice Cream. That's so depressing. Our thanks to Peter Wilson for stopping by.
Thank you.
Our thanks to our good pal Adam Sandler for coming by. Andy Richter, Jimmy Vivino, and the Max Weinberg 7. Stay tuned for Friday night. Have a good weekend. We'll see you Monday. Bye-bye.